Adrenal fatigue is a little bit of a misnomer, and I don't love the term. However, it's what most people recognize. But really, what it is a dysregulation or a miscommunication between your brain, your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals, which are your little pyramid-shaped glands that sit right on top of your kidneys, and they help regulate things like cortisol and adrenaline, and the things that get you up and moving when you need to run or fight. And when you've been in this state of dysregulation for too long, you can start to feel symptoms like extreme fatigue, brain fog, insomnia, digestive issues, heart palpitations, muscle weakness, loss of hair on your scalp, and all kinds of other symptoms that you might just relate to, I need to take a little time off type of thing. The most common symptoms that I hear from patients are like brain fog. That's one of the biggest ones. I just can't think straight. I can't make a decision to save my life. I'm exhausted. I'm drinking 4 cups of coffee a day and I still just can't stop yawning. I still want to nap in the afternoon. Often I'll hear my libido's in the toilet. I just don't want to do anything. Lack of motivation. Those are probably the top symptoms that I hear. Unfortunately, I don't think that there's really a great way to say it in a very understandable way, because it's really, even saying like the HPA axis dysfunction, I don't like either, because that implies that your body doesn't know what it's doing. And I never think that the body doesn't know what it's doing. There's always a method to its madness. So to say that it's dysregulated, that is a little bit more accurate, I think. It's mainly just that negative feedback loop. Meaning when your body senses that it doesn't have enough of something, your brain is going to trigger those glands or whatever to create more. So basically what that means is you've got a bear chasing you and your brain goes, oh my gosh, we don't have enough adrenaline to get through this moment. So it tells your body to kick out more adrenaline so that you can run or that you can fight. So it's just that communication. So really what it is, it's a miscommunication. If you've gotten stuck in that mode for too long, then your brain is constantly saying, we don't have enough adrenaline, we don't have enough adrenaline. So it's turning that mode off in your brain and saying, no, we're safe. We can get back into rest and digest versus fight or flight. Well, there's only so much energy to go around, right? So if your body thinks that you are not safe, it's going to redirect all of the nutrients and the energy that it needs to the appropriate organs or systems in the body. And then in order to do that, it has to take that energy away from other systems. So that's why we say fight or flight or rest and digest, because in fight or flight, all that energy is going to your limbs so that you can run or fight really fast, or into your respiration so that you can, get more oxygen so that you can execute the running or the fighting. In order to do that, it has to shut off other symptoms or other systems in the body, like your digestion. So your digestion gets shut off because you're now in survival mode. You don't need to be digesting food. Often the reproductive system gets shut off because you don't need to reproduce while you're running from a bear. Yeah. So your body will then take all the nutrients and all the energy that are going to those systems and redirect them so that you can survive. I wouldn't say so much types, but I would say different levels, because it's really a matter of how long have you been in that survival mode. And the longer that you're in that survival mode, the more those other systems are not getting the care and the nourishment and the nutrients that it needs. So the longer it's, that's chronic, essentially, the more those systems are going to need extra care. And so, acute would be like, oh gosh, a bear's chasing me, I ran away, whew, okay, everything's okay. And you take a minute to reset and, get back into that rest and digest. The longer you're in that, the longer your body thinks you're running from that bear. So whether you're working extra crazy long hours, you're a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids, or you're doing all of those things, there's all kinds of different reasons to stay in that survival mode, and it will take you to different levels of deficiency and levels of dysregulation within the body. Also, other things can cause it too, like different kinds of medications, for example. Certain traumas can cause it. Emotional trauma, not just physical trauma, all kinds of traumas can cause that, where you just don't feel safe. And if your brain doesn't feel safe, then its first job is to keep you alive. So it's going to keep you in that mode to keep you alive. That answer your question?
Perfect. I think that was really good. What would you recommend for people that are interested in diving into their adrenal fatigue but not really being sure if that's something that they have? Do you have any recommendations for them to, I don't know?
Easiest way to identify it is, just kind of pay attention to what's going on in your body and what your life has looked like leading up to this point. Do you work crazy long hours? Are you always exhausted? Are you having trouble with brain fog? Maybe you're having a hard time spitting out the words. It's right there in the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite find the words for it. Those are really kind of top level signs that maybe there's some dysregulation going on. Another thing is extreme thirst. If you're constantly thirsty but you can't quite quench that thirst, then that's a good sign that your adrenals are taxing out your kidneys, because remember, they sit right on top of each other. So if one's stressed out, the other one's stressed out. And your level of stress in general. If you have a high level of stress, then chances are you have some form of that dysregulation going on. So if you'd like to learn more about adrenal fatigue and ways to overcome it and get your life back, on May 2nd, we're doing a lunch and learn at noon where you can learn a little bit more about what we talked about and also ways to help get yourself out of that dysregulation and back into the rest and digest.